Marcus Chen stepped out of his Tesla, the winter air biting at his face as he approached the gleaming glass entrance of Chen Industries. Another day, another million. At 42, he'd built his tech empire from nothing, but success had come at a price he was only beginning to understand. "Mr. Chen, there's someone at the employee entrance," his assistant Sarah's voice crackled through his earpiece. "Security says she's been there since dawn. She keeps asking for you specifically." Marcus frowned, adjusting his Italian leather briefcase. "Tell security to handle it. I don't have time for—" "Sir, she has a child with her, a boy, maybe 8 or 9. They look—" She paused. "They look desperate." Something in her tone made Marcus stop walking. In his 15 years of running the company, Sarah had never sounded uncertain. "I'll be right there." He found them huddled by the service entrance, a woman in a threadbare coat clutching the hand of a small boy whose shoes had holes worn through the soles. The child's eyes, bright green and curious despite his circumstances, met Marcus's through the glass doors. "Ma'am, I'm Marcus Chen. You asked to see me?" The woman looked up, and Marcus was struck by how young she was, probably not even 30. Her face was gaunt, but her grip on the boy's hand was fierce and protective. "Mr. Chen, my name is Elena Rodriguez. This is my son, David. I lost my job 3 months ago. My husband, he left us. I've tried everything, but I can't provide for David anymore. I've heard you grew up without parents. I thought maybe you'd understand." Marcus felt his chest tighten. He had grown up in the foster system, bouncing between homes until he aged out at 18. But this woman wasn't asking for money or a job. "Please," Elena whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Please take my son, sir. Give him the life I can't. He's smart, so smart. He deserves better than what I can give him." David tugged on his mother's coat. "Mama, I don't want to go anywhere. We'll figure it out. We always do." The boy's loyalty to his mother hit Marcus like a physical blow. He crouched down to David's eye level, seeing himself at that age, abandoned, confused, angry at a world that seemed determined to break him. "David, can you tell me something you like to do?" The boy glanced at his mother, then back at Marcus. "I like to build things. Mama says I'm good with my hands. I made her a jewelry box from cardboard and bottle caps I found." "That's impressive. What else?" "I read a lot at the library. Mrs. Patterson there saves books for me, the ones about inventions and how things work." David's eyes lit up. "Did you know that Thomas Edison had over 1,000 patents and that failure is just success in progress?" The words hit Marcus like lightning. He'd said those exact words in his first TED Talk, inspired by his own journey from foster kid to entrepreneur. But hearing them from this 8-year-old boy, standing in worn-out shoes beside his desperate mother, felt like looking into a mirror that showed his past and future simultaneously. "Elena," Marcus said, standing slowly, "I can't take your son." Her face crumpled. "Please, I'm begging you. I love him more than life itself, but love isn't enough to—" "I can't take him because he belongs with you," Marcus interrupted gently. "But I can help you both build something better together." Over the next hour, Marcus learned Elena's story. She'd been a graphic designer before the tech company she worked for went under. She'd been evicted twice, was staying in a women's shelter, and had been eating 1 meal a day so David could have 2. "Here's what we're going to do," Marcus said finally. "Elena, I'm going to offer you a position as the head of visual communications. It comes with a signing bonus, full benefits, and a company apartment until you get back on your feet." Elena stared at him, speechless. "But I want something in return," Marcus continued, looking at David. "I want you to promise me you'll never give up on building things. And when you're older, if you're interested, maybe you can come work with us. We always need people who see failure as success in progress." David nodded solemnly, then broke into a grin that transformed his entire face. 6 months later, Marcus stood in the company's innovation lab, watching David explain his latest creation to a group of impressed engineers. The jewelry box had evolved into a modular storage system that the R&D team was actually considering for development. "He's remarkable," Sarah commented, joining Marcus at the observation window. "Elena says he's reading at a high school level now." Marcus nodded, remembering the scared, desperate woman who'd stood at his door that winter morning. Elena had not only excelled in her new role, but had started a support network for other single mothers in the company. She'd gained weight, her laugh had returned, and the haunted look in her eyes had been replaced by hope. "You know," Sarah continued, "I never asked, what made you help them that day? We've had people approach you before." Marcus was quiet for a long moment, watching David demonstrate how his storage system could reconfigure itself. "When I was his age, no one believed in me. I spent years convinced I wasn't worth believing in. But David never doubted his worth, even in the worst circumstances. That kind of faith, it's rare." He paused, then added quietly, "Plus, his mother's love reminded me that not everyone who seems to be giving up is actually giving up. Sometimes they're sacrificing everything for someone else's future. That takes a different kind of courage." As if sensing their conversation, David looked up and waved at Marcus through the glass. The boy who had once stood in worn-out shoes now wore a custom lab coat that Elena had made for him, complete with his name embroidered on the pocket. Marcus waved back, thinking about the morning that had changed 3 lives forever. Elena really hadn't been asking him to take her son. She'd been asking him to save her son's future. And in doing so, she'd reminded Marcus that success wasn't just about building companies or accumulating wealth. Sometimes it was about recognizing the moment when someone else's faith intersects with your ability to act on it. And that, Marcus realized, was a return that would compound for generations. Later that evening, Marcus received a text message that would become one of his most treasured possessions. "Mr. Chen, David finished his first robot today. He wants to show you tomorrow. Also, thank you for teaching us that family isn't about biology. It's about who shows up when it matters. We'll never forget what you did for us. Elena." Marcus saved the message. Through his office window, the city lights twinkled like possibilities, and for the first time in years, he felt genuinely wealthy in ways that had nothing to do with his bank account. He'd learned something that day that no business school had taught him. Sometimes, the most important investment you can make isn't in technology or markets. It's in the moment when someone's desperation meets your opportunity to change the trajectory of their hope. And that, Marcus realized, was a return that would compound for generations.